Hi everyone, it's me Terry of the Yarn Joy podcast. Welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to do part 3 of the Stripes-A-Slant throw. This is a pattern by Yarnspirations, and I will put a link down below in the description box where you can get a copy of the written pattern. Okay, and so in part 1 we started the body of the throw, and we did all the way to the halfway point before we started decreasing. And then in part 2 we did the decreases. Okay, so now we are ready to start working on the border. And so where we're going to start is right here where it says inner border, and we need colors B and color A for the inner border. There's 2 rounds. Okay, so in the first round, let me put that aside. It says to join color B. For me, it's this light purple. So I'm going to put a slip knot on leave a little tail so you can weave it in. And I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook. Okay. And then I'm going to join my yarn with a slip knot. Okay. And then with a slip stitch, sorry. And then chain 2, 1 and 2. And then I'm going to half double crochet, and you can work over your tail if you want to. Half double crochet in that same space. Okay. So this chain 2, the first chain 2 is going to be counted as a double crochet stitch. I'm sorry, as a half double crochet stitch. Okay. And then it says once you do that, 2 half double crochets in each space along the edge all the way to the marked space. So remember when we finished after part 1 of the tutorial where we got to the halfway point of the body of our blanket, we were supposed to mark the beginning and end of that row. So let me show you. I'll bring my corner up here. See, I have a marker there. So I'm going to do 2 half double crochets in each of these spaces, okay, all the way until I get to that marked space. Okay, so let's get started doing that. So there's no chaining in between. It's just 2 half double crochets in each space along the edge, it says. So just go into this first big hole there and do 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. Oops, lost that one. Okay, half double crochet. Let me turn my work here a little bit. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochets into the next space. Just like that. And then 2 half double crochets into the next space. And we keep doing that. 2 half double crochets. Okay. So let's see what it's looking like. So 2 half double crochets in each of these spaces. The spaces are those edge stitches that we made with a turning chain, and a turning chain on one end and then a double crochet on the other end. But that's where we're going to put the half double crochets. 2 half double crochets in each of those spaces. And I'm going to work down this side, and when I get to right before I get to the marked stitch there at that corner, I will come back and then we'll do that together. I've been working my half double crochets along the side in each of the turning stitches. Okay, and so I'm getting ready to get up to the marker. I'm going to do 2 half double crochets in this edge stitch right here. Okay, and then the next one is going to be the edge stitch that's right before this marker is. And so for this, we're going to create a corner. And so this one, we want to do 4 half double crochets in that edge space right before the marker. So 4 half double crochets instead of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then now the edge space that's on the other side of that marker, we're going to put 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now that we've created a new corner there, we can take this marked stitch out. I mean the marker. We can take the marker out. Okay, so now we have a corner. Now we can keep going. So now we're going to go back to 2 half double crochets in the edge stitches, just like we did this first side, and we're going to do that all the way until we get to the next corner. I'm going to work 2 half double crochets in each of the edge stitches all the way down this edge until I get to this corner, and then I will meet you back up and we'll do that one together. I'm approaching the next corner, so I have a couple of end stitches here that I need to keep doing my 2 half double crochets in. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, so 2 half double crochets, and then we need to do 2 half double crochets in that next end stitch around it. 1, 2. And so in this corner stitch, we are going to do 2 half double crochets into that corner stitch. So 1, 2, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and then 2 half double crochets back in that corner stitch again. So each of these corners are different. This corner and then the very first corner that we made at the very beginning of this round, we're going to be doing 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochets. And then the side corners where we had our marked stitch, that's the one that we have to do 4 half double crochets right before the marker, and then chain 2, and then 4 half double crochets right after the marker. And then all the other places we're doing 2 half double crochets in each of the end stitches. Okay, so we are finished with this corner. Okay, and then now we're going to turn the corner and we're going to go down this side, repeating the same thing, 2 half double crochets in each of the end stitches, okay, all the way down till we get to our next marked stitch. So I'm going to work on mine, and when I get down to this next marked stitch, we'll do the next corner together. I am nearing the next corner where the marked stitch is. I have 2 more side edge stitches that I have to do the 2 half double crochets in. So I'm going to do that. 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2, and then 2 half double crochets into the next one, 1 and 2. Okay, now we've reached where the marked stitch is. So in the edge stitch right before the marker, I'm going to do 4 half double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to do in the edge stitch right past the marker, I'm going to do 4 half double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I can take my marker out. Okay, now we have one more side to do, and I'm going to go back to doing the 2 half double crochets in each edge stitch all the way until my beginning where we began this round, and we're going to create this final corner. Okay, so I'm going to go work my way all the way down, doing 2 half double crochets in each edge stitch, 1 and 2, see, and then do 2 half double crochets into the next one, 1, 2. So I'm going to work my way all the way down to the beginning, back to the beginning of this round, and I will meet you up there. I'm coming up to the last corner, which is the first where we joined our yarn. So it's actually going to be the first corner, right? So I need to do 2 half double crochets into this, around this edge stitch, 1 and 2. And then I need to do 2 half double crochets in this next edge stitch, 1 and 2. And now we are back to where we joined our yarn. And remember, when we joined it, we made a chain 2, which is the first half double crochet, and then we made a half double crochet into the same stitch. The corner stitches for this one and the one alternating to it, not the 4 half double crochet ones we did, is 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochets. This corner already has the 2 of the half double crochets, so we need to go into that corner and then do 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, and now we need to do, you need to unite them together, but we need to do a chain 2 in between them. So chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to just slip stitch to fasten off. We're going to slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 2, just like that. Just do a slip stitch. And then we're going to, we are finished with this color for the moment, because the next round will be a different color. So I'm going to leave a tail so I can weave it in. And I'm just going to, since I did a slip stitch, I'm just going to pull my yarn through there. Okay, so I have these 2 ends to weave. So that was the completion of round 1 of the inner border. So now we're going to do round 2 of the inner border, and for this one we're going to use color A, and for me color A is this spring green color. I will weave in my ends after I get finished with this following round. So now I'm going to join, and it says to join in any chain 2 space, any chain 2 corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and go right into this one where we fastened off. And I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook, leaving a little tail in the beginning so I can weave it in. Okay. And now I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 2 corner. Just like that. Okay. And then it says to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So now for this round, we're going to be making double crochets instead of half double crochets. So now I need to double crochet into that same space. Okay. And then it says double crochet in between each half double crochet across. And then when we get to the corners, which are the chain 2 spaces, we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets in each corner, chain 2 space. The way we do that is I'm going to hold my tails aside so they're not distracting. So we're going to work between these half double crochets that we made, okay? So we're going to do a double crochet. They're all going to be double crochet stitches. We're going to go in between these first 2 half double crochets, right in between them, and do a double crochet. That's all we do. And then we go in between the next 2 stitches with a with a double crochet. And in between the next 2 stitches with a double crochet. So that's all we're going to do with it for this round, is we're going to do a double crochet in between each half double crochet stitch. When we get to the corner, let me pull my blanket around. Okay, this one. We're going to be doing we're going to be doing double crochets in between all these stitches, all these separate stitches. When we get to that chain 2 space, okay, for each corner, we're going to do 2 half double crochets, chain 2, and 2 half double crochets, and that'll be our new corner, for this round. And then we will resume doing, so all double crochet stitches, okay, that's going to be working in between the half double crochet stitches from the round before, okay. And so I'm going to work on mine, and then when I get when I get back to the beginning corner where I just joined this yarn, I will meet up with you, and then we will finish that off together. I have worked all the way around, 1 double crochet between each of the half double crochets. In each of the corner chain 2 spaces, I've done 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. And so I'm just about to back to the beginning where I joined my yarn. I have to make 1 more double crochet in between these 2 last half double crochets from the row before. So let me do that. Double crochet. Now I'm back to the beginning corner. I've already got 2 double crochets in it from the very beginning of the round, so I'm going to do 2 double crochets into that same chain 2 space from the row before. Okay, there's 2. And then now I need to do my chain 2. And now I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of this beginning chain 3 of the round. Just do a slip stitch. And now I'm ready to fasten off. So I'll leave a little tail to weave in. Cut my yarn. And then since I did a slip stitch, I'm just going to pull the yarn through. Okay, so I've already started weaving in my tails. I just have now the beginning and ending tail of this round to weave in, and then we will be ready to go on to the top and bottom borders. Now that we're finished with the inner border, we had 2 rounds for that. We are now ready to go on to the top and bottom borders. And it says with right side facing, so the side that you are working your borders on, right? This round. With right sides facing, join E. And for my color E, it's this light pink. So I already put a slip stitch or slip knot on my hook, okay? So it says to join E into the chain 2 space, okay? And right now it's a square, so just any chain 2 space, just pick a corner. Okay, so it says join it, so I'm going to join it with a slip stitch, just like that. And then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Double crochet into the same space, into that chain 2 corner. And then it says chain 1, skip the first double crochet and do a double crochet into the next one. And you're going to do that all the way across. So I chained 1, now I'm going to skip the first one, double crochet into the next one. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. So I'm going to do that all the way across. You just chain 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next one. Okay, so that's what we're doing for this round. I will work my way across this side, and when I get to the next chain 2 corner on this side, then I will meet you up there and we will do the end of this row. So I've worked my way across to this one side to the corner. I'm almost there, so I got to chain 1, skip the next double crochet into the next one, and then chain 1, and then we're going to skip that very last double crochet, and in the chain 2 space, we are going to work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Whoop, 2. Okay, so that is the end of row 1 of our top and bottom border. I mean, we do the top border and then the bottom border will be exactly the same. Okay, so that is the end of row 1. We're going to keep our same color. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to turn our work over. To row 2, we already chained 3. And then it says double crochet in between the first 2 double crochets. So you put 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, right? That was the end of row 1. So we did a chain 3, and now I'm going to go in between those 2 double crochets and do a double crochet. Okay. And then it says work 2 double crochets in each chain 1 space across. So in each of these chain 1s where these holes are, we're going to do 2 double crochets. No chaining in between. We're just going to do 2 double crochets. So right into the next chain 1 space, which is this first hole there, we're going to do 2 double crochets. This is going to be a solid row of double crochets. Get some more yarn. 2 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. 2 double crochets into the next space. 2 double crochets into the next space. Okay, so that is what row 2 is looking like. So I'm going to continue all the way across doing 2 double crochets into each of these holes. And I will meet you when I get to the end of this row. Just about finished with row 2, working 2 double crochets into each chain 1 space across. I've got 1 more chain 1 space here. So let's do 2 double crochets into there. 1, 2. And then all we have left is these 2 double crochets that are in the corner space. I'm going to skip the first one. And I'm not going to chain though. I'm just going to skip the first one, and then I'm going to double crochet in the top of this chain 3, the turning chain. But we're going to change colors, so I'm going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and then now I'm going to do a color change. So I'm going to cut myself a tail here, and the next color that we're going to use is color F, and for me color F is white. And so I'm going to add that by just grabbing the white and pulling it through the last 2 loops, completing that double crochet. Okay, you can snug down the tail ends there. Okay, going on to row 3. Now, row 3 and row 4, we're going to be repeating those and just changing colors. Okay, so row 3, it says join, let's see. We joined F when we did the color change. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to turn. Now we're going to double crochet in between the first 2 double crochets. So this double crochet where we changed colors, that's the first one, and then here's the next one. So they want us to double crochet in between those first 2. Okay, chain 1 and then double crochet in the space between each set of 2 double crochets. So if you stretch your yarn here a little bit, your work, you can see that these double crochets are in sets of 2. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to find the space between that set of 2 double crochets and this one right here, and we're going to double crochet in between them. Just like that. Chain 1 and then do it again. Find the 2 double crochet sets and then double crochet in between them. Chain 1, double crochet in between the next 2 sets. You can also just chain 1 and then skip the next 2 stitches and then double crochet into the space after that second stitch and before the third one, if you want to think of it that way. Chain 1, and then between the next 2 sets in that hole, the opening, do double crochet, chain 1, between those 2 sets, do a double crochet, chain 1. So we're going to keep doing that, and we're going to do that all the way across, and when I get to the other end, I will meet you there and I'll show you how you end off this row. I'm now coming to the end of row 3. I've got 1 more chain 1 and double crochet into this last chain 1 space, so let me do that. So chain 1, and then double crochet in that last chain 1 space. And then for the end stitch, it says to do that across to the last 2 stitches. So I did that. There's the last 2 stitches. And then I'm going to skip the next double crochet, and I'm going to do 1 double crochet into the top of that chain 3 turning chain. And I'm going to go ahead and finish my double crochet, because when we're changing colors, we're going to do 2 rows of each color before we change. I can't remember if I said that already. So anyway, so that is the end of row 3. Now we're going to go on to row 4. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to turn my work over again. I've chained 3 and I turned my work over. Now I'm going to double crochet in between these first 2 double crochets from row 3. Okay, now this row is going to be pretty much a repeat of row 2 right here. We're going to do 2 double crochets into each of those chain 1 spaces. Just like that, all the way across. 2 double crochets into each chain 1 space. Okay, so it's going to look like that. I'm going to work my way all the way across, doing 2 double crochets into each chain 1 space, and I will meet you when I get to the end of this row. I'm coming up on the end of row 4, doing 2 double crochets into each chain 1 space. So I have 2 spaces left, and I have 1 space left, so 2 double crochets in there. And it says you do this until you get to where there's 2 stitches left, and then you skip the first stitch and you go into the turning chain of the last stitch and do a double crochet. But this is the second row of this color, so that means I'm going to be changing colors. So I didn't finish my double crochet yet. Leave yourself a tail to weave in. And now we're going to go on to rows 5 and 6. Okay, so it says rows 5 and 6, we're going to use color C, and for me that is this yellow here. So I'm going to pull up a loop of the yellow, and that finishes my double crochet. And then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and turn my work. Okay, so I chained 3 and then I turned my work, and now I'm going to do double crochet in between the first 2 double crochets. So that would be, this is the first one and here's the second one. I'm going to do a double crochet in between those first 2 double crochets. Okay, now I'm repeating row 3, this one right here. So we're going to be chaining 1 and then skipping the first two, you know, you're looking for the sets of the 2 double crochets together. So we're going to chain 1 in between, but then we're going to do a single double crochet in between those sets of 2 double crochets across. So I'm going to chain 1. There's my hole I want to go into between those 2 double crochet, two double crochet sets and do a double crochet. Okay, chain 1, double crochet between those 2 and those 2 of the double crochets, chain 1. See, if you pull your yarn, your work across apart a little bit, you can see those spaces where we're going to be working into between those 2 double crochet sets. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing for this round, row. And what we're going to be doing from now until the end of this whole border, is just repeating rows 3 and 4, which is in my case, it's the white right here, those 2 rows of white, which is color F. And according to the pattern, you're going to do 2 rows, so rows 5 and 6 with color C, but you're going to be repeating these 2 rows. So you're going to do row 3 and then row 4, and then at the end of row 4 you're going to change colors, and you're going to change colors from color C to color B, and then you're going to do the 2 rows 3 and 4. And then the end of row 4 with your color B, then you're going to change color again to color A, which is rows 9 and 10. And then you'll do these 2 rows, you know, repeat the 3 and 4 with that color. Okay, and then at the end of that, which is row 10, you just finish off like regular and cut your yarn, and you're finished with the that end of the border. Okay, now, so if you need help doing or remembering what to do for these, the row 3 and row 4, the repeat of this section, these 2 set of those 2 rows, then just rewind the tape, well, reverse the tape, you know, go back in the video until you see where I am putting in these 2 white rows, and that is row 3 and row 4 that you need. Okay, so you're going to do colors, you're going to do it with color C, 3 and 4, and then you'll change colors to color B and do 3 and 4. And then color A and do 3 and 4. And then you'll be finished. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you, because I've already done the other end, because you have to do this at the top of your blanket, and then you're going to do the exact same thing at the opposite end. The opposite end of your blanket, you want to do the exact same thing that you did here on the other end. And for your convenience, I put a banner below at the bottom of my video where I started this section, so that way you're just, you know, go back, rewind the tape, go backwards in the tape or video. Sorry, I'm old school. Go back in the video and look for that banner that pops up at the bottom of the screen that says top and bottom border, and that's where this starts. Okay, now I've already done my other end, and so let me go ahead and show you what it's going to look like. This is like a modified block stitch, I would call this, because you're doing 2 sets of 2 double crochets instead of 3 double crochets, but it's a very similar to the block stitch. When you finish your border, these top and bottom borders, it should look like this. Okay, now your colors will be different depending on what colors you're using, but this was row 1 and row 2, and then you have row 3 and row 4 right there, and then you change colors to color C, and I did 3 and 4, row 3 and 4, and then I changed colors to color B and did row 3 and 4, and then I finished off with color A and I did rows 3 and 4. Okay, and when I finished this A color, then I just cut my yarn, fastened off, cut my yarn, weaved in my ends, and you'll be finished. Okay, now I will insert a picture here of what your blanket is going to look like with the top and the bottom border on the blanket. Okay, and so when you finish the top and bottom borders, your blanket should look like this. Okay, so there's a picture of mine, and I have the top and bottom border complete. Okay, so your homework is to finish this top and bottom border, and then I will meet you next week for video number 4, and we will finish the blanket completely. I hope you're having a wonderful time following these tutorials. I've really been enjoying this blanket and doing it along with you, and so get your homework done and weave in those ends, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.